Hey book lovers, I'm Elise, and today we're going to talk about the books that I plan to read in the month of February. Since February is the month of love, the month of Valentine's Day, I've decided to challenge myself a little bit, and the books that I've put on this TBR all have a spine color that is some shade of red or pink. The first book on my February TBR is Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. This is a contemporary romance novel. It has been compared to Gossip Girl with a focus on Chuck and Blair. So if you were a shipper of Chuck and Blair in the good old days of the Gossip Girl show, this is probably a book that would be up your alley. I will actually be participating in a buddy read for this with a few friends. This is the first book in a series, and depending on how this goes, I may decide to pick up the rest of the books as well. Not this month, but later on. It looks really big. It's almost 500 pages, but the font is pretty large. So the next book on my February TBR is Emma by Jane Austen. This is a classic novel, same author as Pride and Prejudice. I read Pride and Prejudice last, I think it was in like January, February, so pretty similar time as this year. I don't know much about this one. The back just says, rich and confident, Emma Woodhouse considers herself to be a talented matchmaker, but as she schemes to find a suitable husband for her new friend Harriet, Emma begins to realize that her judgment is not as good as she thought. Indeed, she may not even know her own heart. I do have quite a few classics on my shelves, and I really need to start reading more of them, but sometimes it just takes my brain a second. Like, I have to get used to the writing before I can really get into a classic. Usually having the audiobook will help, so I'll have to find that and do a read along with it. The next book on my February TBR is Love on the Brain by Ellie Hazelwood. This is of course the same author as The Love Hypothesis. I absolutely loved it. It made my, I think it was number 2 on my top 10 books of 2022 list. This one focuses on Bee and Levi. They are workplace enemies, and I think they work at NASA. If you saw my last video, which was all about my bookish buzzwords, science is definitely a buzzword, so any book having to do with science is something that I'm definitely intrigued by. The next book on my February TBR is The Grace Year by Kim Liggett. This one I believe is a bit of a dystopian read, and it's about a group of people who, when the girls are 16 years old, they go off and have what's called a grace year. I think they are thought to be very powerful. They believe their very skin emits a powerful aphrodisiac, the potent essence of youth, of a girl on the edge of womanhood. So they're basically banished for their 16th year of existence to purify themselves, get all their magic out, all the bad stuff, before they can return to their community. Next on my list is Not a Happy Family by Sherry Lapina. This one is a thriller. The Mertons are brutally murdered the night after an Easter dinner with their 3 adult kids, who of course are devastated. But are they? So it sounds like mom and dad were offed, and each of the kids has a very pricey incentive to have been the one to do it. I've never read a book by Sherry Lapina before, but I have heard good things, so I'm looking forward to this one. I got this book off Book Outlet, so it's in a little bit rough condition. The dust jacket anyways. The book itself is fine. And the last book on my February TBR, this one I have been seeing great reviews for everywhere for months, and I keep meaning to read it. Meant to read it last spooky season, that didn't happen, but it is Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. From what I recall from other people's reviews, it's about a woman who, I don't know if she was in rehab or prison, but she was recently released, and she gets this job nannying this little boy, and he starts drawing some pretty disturbing pictures, and as time goes on, it sounds like the pictures get more and more detailed or more gruesome. I don't really want to know much more than that. I've heard the twists in this are amazing, and that is something that I really look for in my thrillers. So this is probably going to be my most anticipated read for the month of February. All right, friends, there we have it. These are the books that I plan to read in the month of February. Like I said, everyone, I challenge myself to pick either a red or pink shade for the spine. So I think that looks pretty cool. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please do remember to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and drop a comment down below. Let me know what your most anticipated read is for the month of February, and until next time, bye!